Hello, my Richies, and welcome back to another episode of the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. My name is Sara. I'm your host. And in today's episode, we are going to discuss how resilience is key to a peaceful life. I, for one, know that I was absolutely addicted to chaos through no real fault of my own. And I had a lot of patterns to not only unpack, but rewind and unfurl from my unconscious behaviors and actions that were really just leading me down a path of just absolute upset 24/7. And I had no coping mechanisms. I had no way to regulate my emotions. I was definitely very unpleasant to be around most times. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that I know that I had a lot of resiliency outwardly, but inwardly, I had no resiliency. It was very much like the duck, smooth and calm and graceful above water, and then down below the feet are like paddling like a crazy little motor. And that was me. I was cool, calm, and collected on the outside, and on the inside, I was absolutely in pure and utter hell and turmoil. And there came so many moments throughout my life where I knew that I needed to do something about it and make a change, or not only was my life going to continue to get miserable, but my health was going to start being affected by it. And ultimately, I knew that I deserved happiness and ultimately peace, which has been my goal since 2010 when I started my kind of self-growth journey. Now, we're going to go over a few different ways in which resiliency helps you to kind of not only foster a peaceful way of living, but really helps to amplify the peace that is already readily available around you at any moment. And you are able to tap into and truly just take things down several notches when things are out of control and feeling very chaotic. So the first thing is understanding that resilience takes and transforms your setbacks and turns them into growth opportunities when you are able to regulate your emotions and change your mindset to look at them in a different way. One of the most popular ways of stating this is like, it's not what's happening to you, it's what's happening for you. You know, you could be a victim mentality. Oh, this is happening to me. Or you could look at it in a growth perspective, and this is happening for you to change XYZ. This was a really big one for me because I was a negative little Nancy. Okay. There was just so much suffering and upheaval and just anger and rage that I had in my life for the way things had been. And I did nothing to get rid of it. And it just festered inside of me. And it really affected my ability to have a strong demeanor when things got tough. And I would crack and snap and freak out, or just like panic attacks, just like not really handling life and all of the bumps and bruises that come along with it well. And taking this lesson in, and rather than like being crushed by whatever the opposition was at the moment, I tried to make them valuable moments of lessons that were going to kind of fuel my future success in not reacting that same way the next time around, or another time in the future where something might be a little bit difficult. And in these moments, I had to start asking myself, like, what can I learn from this? I'm like overly annoyed right now. Like, there's a lesson somewhere here to be found. What is it? What can I do about it? How do I get started? Rather than, why is this happening to me? Think about like, what can I learn from this rather than why is this happening to me? It also kind of gives you the ability to really take a look at what is triggering you lately and get down to the bottom of it. And when you get down to the bottom of it, you can kind of excise that wound and clean it up a little bit and just let it know that you see it and that you're aware of it and that you're doing something about it actively, starting right now in the conversation that you're having with it, because you're recognizing that that is what has gotten you to this place of feeling triggered, feeling chaotic, feeling overwhelmed. It just really also gives you the ability to view challenges as temporary rather than permanent places for you to create a negative mental headspace that doesn't allow for solutions. So there's always going to be those moments where you're like, ugh, like this is super annoying. What am I going to do about this? Do I allow a flat tire to ruin my entire week, or do I just allow it to be annoying for the 15 to 20 minutes that I'm changing the tire? I'm going to pick the 15 to 20 minutes and I'm changing the tire. And over time, you would hope that you could get it down to just a few seconds of annoyance while you're getting all the equipment out and think, you know what? I'm grateful that I have the equipment needed. I'm very thankful I had a spare in all of the parts. I'm thankful that I'm in a safe place on the side of the road to be able to do this. I'm thankful for the knowledge to know how to change a tire. I'm thankful for the health and the strength to be able to do so without needing assistance. And I'm going to make the best of the situation. I'm going to remind myself I can do hard things. And in reminding myself I can do hard things, I am not only ensuing a bit more confidence in places that have negatively been impacted by my pessimistic attitude, I'm also giving myself the example of everything going in my direction, everything working for me rather than against me, because I went into action instead of resting in a place of miserableness and, quite frankly, victimhood, giving up, looking at something like, oh, what was me? It's like, well, okay, you can do that, but you can also look at yourself and say, I got this. Let's do this. We can do this. I can do this, and get started. And then when you're done, you get to go, I knew you could do it. And then you do it over and over and over again. Resilience is you believing in the things you tell yourself about yourself with action. You're backing up the way you want to feel about yourself with action. And that action leads to experience, which then leads to examples that you can draw from to remind yourself that not only are you capable of doing this thing, you were made to get better through tiny resistances and challenges. That is how resiliency is born. It is like pressuring that carbon into a diamond over time. And the diamonds are frequent because the resiliency that's gained is percentage by percentage over time. And once you start this journey, you're going to find yourself turning around one day and being like, that thing that used to bug the shit out of me just flew right off my back. Holy crap, how lucky am I? Like, yes, you are lucky. And you're not only lucky, but you've put in that hard work, which leads you to get to this place of being able to recognize, like, oh my God, I didn't get triggered. Last time I did. And this time I noticed that, like, I got this and I didn't. I walked myself off that ledge and instead I gave myself the card of empowerment and I moved forward with a plan. Beautiful. It truly can be as simple as that. And that's not to say that, it's not going to be difficult. But even through the most difficult moments you can muster, that's when resiliency is needed, right? We're going through these minor inconveniences to strengthen ourselves for those moments that take us to our knees. And the ability to adapt to changing circumstances and kind of like preventing rigidity and frustration with this flow state of just going through the exercises and the different things that are coming at you for you to problem solve is a really beautiful way for you to also harness the gift of being able to develop multiple backup plans simultaneously for when you do meet these moments of opposition that are really taking you to a place of like having to switch up from the plan that you had before, or not allowing your emotions to cloud up this strategy planning and the actions that need to come afterwards because you can't regulate your emotions and like handle what's in front of you. It's also giving you the ability to really practice a skill that not only builds comfort very quickly as a beginner, but really does, again, allow you the ability to get to know yourself. And in getting to know yourself, you trust yourself. And then once you trust yourself, things start to subconsciously and autonomically just bam, bam, bam. And that's when life starts to get really cool, like super cool. The minute that you know you can trust yourself to handle anything that's coming at you, life becomes a game. And in that game, you get to strengthen all of the beautiful talents and interests and passions that you have by just working towards carving those things out and getting better and better and better and evolving and evolving and evolving. When people try to focus on things that they can't control, they are really just wasting energy in a way that is making them focus on unchangeable situations while emotionally believing that there is something they can do about it. And the thing that they can do about it is kind of taking a step back, looking in the present moment of understanding that like there's an emotion here that's fueling you thinking that you need to keep running your head into this wall here. But in reality, you need to take a step back. You need to woosah yourself, bring it down several notches, and then address the task in front of you. What is next? What do I have to do next? But you can't get to that space until you have that ability to emotionally regulate. Calmness and inner calmness, especially, and a state of perpetual inner calmness does not come until you have a bit of emotional regulation. And you only need a little bit, because once you understand the concept and you are in conversation with yourself and truly present enough to pay attention to the emotions that are rising as you're going through your day and your experiences and dealing with this or that, then you start to truly understand the matrix that is your emotional intelligence and how you can hack your operating system with deciding without emotion plaguing you what the very next best action truly is. Having coping strategies to attain emotional regulation before a crisis occurs really prevents emotional spiraling. And I know this is an obvious thing, but I want to put a few things out to you. One, if you have a toolkit to pull from when you find yourself in this space, whether it's breath work, for me, it's either, if it's a minor annoyance, I will visualize and hertz my way out of it. Been doing it for years. I am obsessed with it. It works. Often only takes a few minutes, sometimes 30 seconds. If I'm having a physical panic attack, I must do Jenny Rose Breathwork's breathwork tape. I'll do a quick 5-minute session, and by the end of it, I am not only through my panic attack, but I am already emotionally regulated and back to a place of calm. I will link her breathwork website where you can purchase her audio tapes and workbook journal in the show notes. And then I also have the toolkit of just journaling. When I'm really bothered by something and nothing is working, I sit down and I write it out. And more often than not, something is going to come to the surface that I wouldn't have just gotten from sitting there and thinking. I have to free flow write, and boom, there it is, bubbles to the surface. And then I'm able to look at it and go, okay, what's the game plan here? How do I keep myself from spiraling about this? How do I keep myself from getting upset about that? How do I relinquish control here? How am I surrendering there? Having the coping strategies and the personalized calm down methods that are going to get you to a place of equanimity between your brain and your emotions and your heart is really going to give you some absolute gas in the tank for crafting and creating the exact life that you are looking to live based off of how you yourself are able to navigate through it through heart and mind. Now, the capacity to self-soothe not only kind of releases your dependence on external validations or distractions, but it really does begin to turn into a superpower, because in creating these not only internalized pep talks that are helping to get you through the annoyances and the hard times, but the physical self-soothing techniques are creating healthy boundaries for you from your own self that are allowing you to interface with your external environment in a way that boosts you. You are better prepared for the outside world because you have boundaries and things and tools in place for your inside world. That was a really big key for me to take in and like really absorb and understand. I needed to create boundaries from myself. I was the problem. Like, it was so crazy to realize like, no. And then I had to create clear communication from myself and be like, again, we're not doing this again. Take a minute, take a step back. Let's take some deep breaths. Let's figure it out. Now, strong social connections during difficult times are also something that a lot of resilient people have in place. And whether that's one person, whether that's their relationship with God, they are never marching alone. They know the power of community and they know the power of connection, whether it be with one or an army. And resilient people invest in their relationships in a way that is not only offering mutual support during difficult times for all parties involved, but is really allowing the blessing of a community to expand their heart in a way that does really expand their bravery and their resilience to try and do harder. There is a beautiful connection when we feel a part of a unit that makes you feel not only responsible for yourself, but responsible for others. And that responsibility can lead you to truly meet resilience at its peak for what you are capable of and surprise the heck out of yourself. I've had to meet those measures many times because of those people in my life that needed someone to step up. And I tell you, I've never been more proud of myself. And I know that you'll feel the same way too. It's a really beautiful gift that you can give yourself, truly. You want to have regular check-ins with your people to just kind of maintain a connection. This is like preschool 101, but COVID really messed a lot of people up and a lot of people forgot how to be friends. So we're just going to do a quick check-in. It also is really important for you to have an array of friendships, an array of people that have different interests that you align with so that you're not putting all of the weight into one person. It is really important for you to have a support team, and it is not meant for you to bear alone, nor is it meant for one other person to bear entirely for you. And it is really important when trying to become a resilient person to have a support team that is spread out and able to help you with the array of things that you have going on in your life, whether that's positive or unpleasant. There's also really beautiful things that happen when you are interacting with people throughout difficult times in your life or theirs, and that's that there's such a deep spring of knowledge that is shared amongst each other in these difficult times. And I really do believe that's when God comes into the picture and just allows things to flow to kind of help the situation to move forward and to touch the lives of those involved so that there is a measure of, we'll say, a leap of faith, a leap of belief in themselves, a leap of resilience, a leap of understanding of oneself and one's purpose. And those kinds of cross generational and cross knowledge relationships are giving you the ability to really tap into what it means to see the peak in others because of how much further ahead of in life they are than you, and knowing what there is ahead of you to grow towards and surpass. Helping people is also something that resilient people are going to do readily, and not only because it makes them feel good to help others, but a rising tide floats all boats. You want your community to be strong and supported. You want that butterfly effect to flit about, and resilience and confidence really does entice and encourage that same mirroring amongst others in a community when you are meeting others authentically in your resilient state, your open state, your empathetic state that allows you to be exactly who you are and exactly who you're supposed to be, with all of the strengths and scars and things you've been through attached to that, but not having them be a weapon and having them be your absolute superpower. You want it to be something that people are enamored by in you and not afraid of, because you haven't learned how to harness the power of the things that have happened to you through resilience. Now, there is a lot to be said about physical and mental self-care when you're building resiliency, because things are not going to be all like sunshines and kittens and roses. It really is a difficult journey, but it is so rewarding and absolutely worth every single second of what you're putting yourself through and growing towards and above. And again, just surmounting any kind of shit in your way. You really do want to make sure you're getting regular physical activity, and whether that's walking, get it up into zone 2 and you're good to go for the rest of your life. Half hour a day, you're Gucci. Not only that, you're going to see your brain start to clear. When we can clear our brain of the chaos, it really does allow you over time throughout this growth journey of resilience to be able to tap into it quicker and quicker and quicker until it just becomes the very nature of who you are. It's like repping abs. Like doing sit-ups really sucks in the beginning, and then you get like Jean-Claude Van Damme with it, and you're just like bumping them up upside down hanging from your closet, or you're just finding places to do sit-ups because they're your very favorite thing, because it's making you stronger and it's making you a better person with every rep. And like, you can be that way with your life and the things that come at you, and the way in which you need to take these things to cultivate just gratitude shifts and focus on all these wonderful things coming your way through these hardships that you get to grow towards and evolve with, in like these things in mind. It really does help to have a gratitude practice. And this is more on the mental side of things, but I think in general, I just want gratitude to live on its own, because without gratitude, life is just a waste, a total waste. Specific gratitude practices could be visualization, meditation. Maybe you just want to write down all the things you're thankful for every day throughout this resiliency journey that you're on, and write down what triggers you avoided that day, or write down how happy you are that it took you only 4 minutes to calm down about something that used to take 3 days. Like, you need to celebrate the wins and you need to be grateful for them. You can't ask for growth and then not celebrate every single little bit of growth as it happens. So give yourself the permission to really dive into this and be proud of yourself and recite every one of your wins, at least for the first few weeks, so that it becomes very rote in who you are. You want to rewire your brain here by positively accentuating all of the times in which you caught yourself, you took a step back, you removed your emotions by self-regulating, and then you strategized, took action forward, and seen. Write it down, move forward with life. Something else pops up, get it, write it down, and seen. Move through life. You know what I mean? Make this a way of life, and you will be absolutely shocked at what you can achieve in not only 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, but a lifetime of being in control of your emotions and being resilient to the things that life and the universe are going to throw at you without a moment's notice. My Richies, I hope that this was a helpful episode. I am so excited for some upcoming interviews we have, and I am very thankful for your time and attention for every episode. As always, make life rich.